I'm Don Taylor, CEO of AmplifiedAg. Really started AmplifiedAg with the vision of creating some jobs for local farmers, for putting some healthy food into the local community, and starting to understand how traditional farming and then the next generation technology farming could really work in unison to help solve a lot of these problems that are going on inside of the environment. At the beginning, it was really just a matter of figuring out what agriculture was. I was a software person. I didn't know how to grow anything. And as I got further and further into it, landed on shipping containers as the delivery mechanism. I'd done quite a bit of research and gone and visited large greenhouse environments and came to the conclusion that shipping containers would allow us to better tightly control the environmental, so controlling the temperature, humidity, CO2, all of those types of elements. Also, the shipping containers are 320 square feet, so they provide a lot of segmentation from a food safety perspective. So if you do have an issue in one container, it's going to be limited to that container, whereas a large greenhouse environment, you could potentially lose the entire greenhouse in one fell swoop if something bad were to go wrong. I think that we've proven that the technology works, proven that the market will adopt it, and proven that from a farm process perspective, we can plant the seed, harvest it, package it, and distribute it to a customer. There's a movement. People want to know where their food is coming from. 95% of the lettuce and leafy greens in the United States today are grown in California and Arizona. So if you buy a product off the shelf that was grown in California, it's probably 2 weeks old by the time it gets to your table. That's really the first advantage, is that the consumer wants to buy something that's fresh. We do grow a very tasty plant, so I think the quality of our products is superior to other products that you'll find on the market. And a lot of that comes down to the technology and our ability to be able to manage the environment in such a tight fashion, so we can keep the temperature and humidity, CO2 levels, the nutrient levels, all controlled by the software and the technology, which does impact the quality of the plant. So that would be the first piece of it. The second is the retail market and distributors are also trying to figure out how to mitigate risk with product that's 2 weeks old. There's an E. coli contamination, and what we've seen happen multiple times is they're coming from very large distributed environments where a recall gets very expensive and has to be pulled. So they'll have to pull a significant amount of the product out of the supply chain if there's a recall. And I guess the last piece would be the sustainability aspect. You're eliminating the transportation, so you're eliminating quite a bit of carbon footprint in that process. You're also eliminating fertilizers and pesticides that are being spread across very large areas of land. Water consumption is minimal, and when you look at having to water hundreds and thousands of acres of land, that's also very meaningful and becoming more of a risk as time goes on in most portions of the country. I'm a firm believer in focus. When you're bringing a new product to market, whether it's software or a widget or lettuce or however you may quantify that, that you start in one place and you dominate that place. Our objective was Charleston, South Carolina. We spent the first year working with several of the local food distributors. We're in virtually every restaurant in Charleston, which was really that first step towards brand awareness. And then we moved to Columbia and have slowly radiated out from there. So if I'm ever going to counsel somebody on bringing a new product to market, you always want to be as focused, and you want to become a market leader in the smallest segment possible. And then you slowly radiate out and become a market leader, one ring at a time. And that is proven to be true for us, where we started in South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida. We're now in Alabama, we're in Tennessee. So slowly building out, in my view, is the right way to implement a new innovation. Through my entire technology career, failure is just part of the deal. I mean, that's how you figure out how to make something better. One of the big challenges early on in this business, in this industry, was lighting. It is the most important part of the grow process. You know, we started 6 years ago with LED technologies that did not work very well, and we were getting poor plant quality, and we just kept iterating on light types. And now we're actually to the point where we're starting to build our own lights. It's always a matter of taking a look at what you have today. Does it work? Does it not work? If it doesn't work, what are the things that we need to do to make it work? And really understanding what are the requirements. You know, I almost don't see it as failures, as more of just a test and a result. And then based on that result, you go one direction or the other. So first, surrounding yourself with people that you like is important. You know, my good friend is also co-founder. We have very different paths and very different skill sets, but it just is building out the team, building it out with people that are very like-minded. I believe respect is the foundation of everything we do. At this point in my life, you know, work with people that I don't respect and that don't respect other, you know, the people around them. That's absolutely core. And you know, I've always believed once you have that foundation, then really the rest of it works itself out. I believe that management and leadership is the same thing. There's traits of both of those that you need. The leadership side of it really is about the people, in my mind, and really being able to guide a team and to set a vision for a team and to keep the team healthy. And then on the management side of it, there are a lot of complexities with managing a business. And I do think that, you know, understanding how to manage cash, understanding how to read a P&L, understanding what a balance sheet is, being able to set objectives with measurable results, which is what you're ultimately going to be able to create clarity and hold a team accountable to, are all attributes of management. And then there are days where you have to make decisions that you really don't want to make, and you just have to do it, which makes the decisions even harder because that's where the buck stops. Changing 2,000 years of agriculture is not an easy thing to do, and it does require capital. You know, I do believe in being as prudent as you possibly can when you are raising capital. I think particularly early stage companies that have too much capital, in many cases, are not going to be as innovative. The less capital you have, the more innovative you're going to be. I'm absolutely convinced of that. So the trick is to be able to have just enough capital at just the time that you need it. If your focus is right and your mission is right and your passion is there and you have a good solid team around you, capital generally becomes the easiest part of the equation. It really does come down to that very narrow focus on what it is you're trying to get done and why you're trying to get it done, and I think the rest will follow. I'm Don Taylor, and those are my notes on innovation.